In this video, we will use the order of operations to simplify expressions. The order of operations is the order in which steps must be done to simplify an expression. This follows rules for each set of operations for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now, first, the order of operations is we have grouping. So we need to evaluate inside groups before we move on to anything else. Within that group, we might have other things that we need to look for. And so you'll follow the order, and it might be fluid. It won't necessarily always be a linear progression. Next, we have exponents. After we're done dealing with all of our groups, we deal with our powers. Now, a radical is an example of an exponent. Now, in order from left to right, we deal with multiplication and division. And also, in order from left to right, we have addition and subtraction. All right, so first, let's talk about some grouping symbols, because this may be different. You guys are used to just seeing parentheses as your only grouping. But we have other things that group stuff together. So parentheses, of course, your square brackets group things together, your curly braces, absolute value bars group things together, the radical, which is the square root or another root, it could be the cube root or fourth root or fifth root or so on and so forth. The fraction line also separates groups. The top, the numerator, is one group, the denominator is another group. Vinculum is just another word for that fraction line. That's actually its formal name. All right, some examples of order of operations. So first we always need to analyze this expression, say 7 plus 54 divided by 3. And then this parentheses here is not really a grouping parenthesis. So there's different types of parentheses. There's a grouping parenthesis and a multiplication parenthesis. This one is multiplication. So we don't go to there first. We actually do our multiplication and division from left to right. So the first thing we do here is actually the division. So 54 divided by 3 gives us that 18. This set of parentheses is multiplication. So we do the multiplication before we do the addition. So we have 36 from 18 times 2 plus 7, which gives us 43. All right, in this next one, notice we have an exponent here, we have division, and we have subtraction and addition. We don't have any grouping symbols here, so we can move on to exponents. Notice we have negative 2 to the 5th, or minus 2 to the 5th. So we have 17 minus 2 to the 5th power, which is 32, and then bring down the rest, divided by 4 plus 6. We're done with exponents, and so next we move on to multiplication and division. The part we see here is around the division, 32 divided by 4, which is 8. Now we see addition and subtraction. We do addition and subtraction from left to right. It doesn't matter if the addition is here and the subtraction is here or vice versa. We always just work from left to right. So we're going to do the subtraction first and then add. Okay, these two examples, we actually have two sets of grouping symbols here. We have our parentheses that are in the numerator and our fraction line that separates the numerator and denominator. So we'll work with that top grouping first. Within that grouping, we have 7 minus 2 squared. So now within that group, we follow order of operations. Within that group, we don't see another group, so we move on to exponents. Then we are going to do the subtraction and follow the grouping on top and on bottom. Once we have simplified both the top and the bottom, then we can finally divide. Okay, here we have our exponents first, then our multiplication and addition and subtraction, Notice the 24 minus the 48 gives us that negative 24, and negative 24 plus 15 is a negative 9. Next are the set of on your own problems. I want you guys to attempt these before class. Notice in each one of these the groupings that we have, and these vertical bars for those absolute values.